Hello. Welcome back to our channel, Glory in Marriage Podcast. My name is Lillian Ransale Jones.
My name is Mariangela Chezira.
And excitingly, today we have a guest. She's going to introduce herself and we are going to enjoy. Let her first introduce herself, then we shall talk about what we are going to talk about.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ndagire Nabisere Muhire, and I'm glad to be here.
Hey, amen. So, Ndagire, how long have you been married?
We've been together 14 years, married 10.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. We are so glad to have you today.
I'm glad to be here.
Amen. So today we are going to talk about why we get married. Why are you married? Why are you in your marriage? Like the reasons as to why we get married, and then other dynamics that go with it, and marriage itself. What is marriage? Is marriage just something that, it's a wedding and you're done, or is there more to marriage? So that's what we are going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And my dear partner here is going to start us off. Yeah. Let me see. Why did I get married? So I got married because God told me to. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be married now. Like seriously, I wouldn't. I think I would be living a single life, maybe with children. I don't know. But I met God and he told me, you know what? Now this is your path. So I got married. So, and other things as go into the conversation. So that's how it's going to go. Mariangela, why did you get married?
So, when I was a little girl, I always, like, marriage was always the goal. Always, like, you grow up and you get married. That's just how life goes. So I always aspired to get married. And when I reached a certain age, I was looking for a husband actively. Because you get married. That's what people do when they're grown, right? Why did I get married to the person I'm married to? It's because God told me. Even me, it was a good thing. Like I would not have chosen that person for myself. And I would not have even looked at him twice if God had not said. Wow. Not that he's bad. It's just that it's just that I was looking elsewhere, or I had different priorities in my mind. And yeah, that's why I got married, because the Lord led me there. But I always wanted to get married. It's just that the person I am with, it was a God thing. It wasn't a me thing. Yeah. And now our guest is going to tell us why did she get married.
I guess I got married because I felt it was time for me to get married. I really wanted to have kids, and I thought that was my only way of having kids. That was my path, because as a Christian and being raised from a Christian family, I was told if I want to have kids, I had to first get a husband and get married. So I got married because I felt it was time for me to. But then also, the person I got married to, honestly, like Angela is sharing, God had to tell me to marry that person, because if it was in my own, if I had to choose, seriously, he wasn't my type. That's the truth. But I've never met anyone who has married their type. Can you testify? In my own experience, I haven't met anyone who has married their type.
Let me see. Me, as she said, growing up. So me, when I was still young, I told God I'm going to get married to a white man. You get? But of course not that type.
No, as in he's a white man, yes, but is he your type?
Type, like
the kind of man you would like.
Let me tell you something. When I grew up, my type changed. I wanted a dark guy, beard, cool, tall. Oh my God, I wanted a tall guy. Okay, this one is also tall, but I wanted a tall guy with, swag. Yeah,
the things
like.
Yeah.
But anyway, I also don't think I've met someone. But there are some people like high school sweethearts. Don't you think so?
In my own experience, honestly, I'm sure people have married their types, but I haven't met a person who has married their type, because I think, like, for example, when I was younger, I wanted a guy who can dance. Who is, you see such childish things, who is handsome, I don't know what. But some of these things, when you're married, who cares if the person can dance or not? Is it important if the person can dance?
No, it's not.
In the grand scheme of things, really, it's not important.
I know someone when they were searching, Ali, they wanted a handsome guy. So that when they get angry, like if she gets angry with him, at least he looks nice. So that his looks would entice her to want to make up with him because he's very good looking.
Is he handsome?
But down the road, your priorities change.
Yes,
so when she came and told me, I'm getting married, I remembered, I'm like, so is he very handsome? She's like, man, I abandoned those things. Because like in the grand scheme of things,
doesn't
being
matter.
Handsome is like, and it's not like it's bad to want a handsome guy. It's just that sometimes that's not what God is looking at for you.
But it also matters. I mean, think about the children you're going to have. Just saying. I mean, I don't think these days people want to have kids who are not good looking. But I think also money. Money changes everything. It doesn't matter how. Yes. It doesn't matter how this person looks like if they have money. Yes. No, you guys, be honest. I'm being honest. Yeah, like look at what the world is showing us these days. Go on Instagram.
You know something? I think, honestly speaking, in the grand scheme of things, being handsome, I don't think it's important in the grand scheme of things. We're looking at the bigger picture. But if you're just being like, what should you call it?
Showbiz.
Gully, can I say that? You want a handsome guy because you think, oh, my children, how will they look? Such things. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not important.
How many celebrities have we seen who are handsome and they marry handsome people and their kids just look normal?
Yeah.
They look like normal kids. They don't.
Angelina Jolie's kids.
I have actually. Those children
look adorable because both parents
but Leanne, sometimes
not
the parents can be very, very. The wife is beautiful, the husband is handsome, and the kids are.
Yes, it happens. But anyway,
it does.
So as us, we can come to a consensus that for us, God told us to get married. So we got married.
To those partners we are married
to. The partners we are married
to.
However, before me, I got married. Before I even got saved, marriage was like a way to have sex. Like it's the legal way. It's the legal way.
Yes, you don't feel guilty.
So every time you're doing it outside of the marriage, you're like a sinner. So you quickly want to marry that guy so that you stop
You're not
being
a sinner.
And also people count body count. You know what they call body count? Like what's your body count? So you don't want to have a very high body count. So to save yourself,
get married.
Like, banang. Let me marry this guy because now I leave him. Then I start again. Then So sometimes some people get married for that reason. And I think right now in church, it's one of the main reasons why they are pushing young people to find a husband
because they squeeze.
They're like, we know you want to do this thing.
Because you want squeeze and you don't want to feel
you want to do this thing and we don't want you to sin. So you go and do that. Get married quickly and you do that thing. And that's why you find in churches there are many young couples because they are always, if they see the two of you looking at each other suspiciously, they're like, you and you down the aisle because we shall not have you sleeping around and then breaking up. So that is also one reason why people actually do get married. I find it interesting that Ndagire's reason was like, I really wanted kids and this is the only way.
Yeah. But you guys, I wanted to ask you something. Like sometimes I feel like sex is overrated. Don't get me wrong, sex is very important in marriage. But is it one of the most important priorities?
Let me answer first.
No, I'm looking at you.
No, it's not the most important thing. However, because the devil has taken it and made it look like this is not even that. He's made it look like this is
It's too
prize.
important. It's either this or the highway.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is it. So movies, TV shows, music, everything is telling you this is what you want. This is
Yeah.
the thing. So as a result, in your mind, you're like, for me to enjoy this thing, like enjoy it. This is the way. However, when you get there,
It's not what it is.
it's a different story because you're not going to be doing it morning, evening, afternoon,
Yeah.
what. Like life
And
happens.
that's not what it is.
And that's not what it is. And you're right, it's overrated in the sense that they overhype it as
Yeah.
this is the golden apple. When
Yes.
it's not. It's just another, it's actually what helps married people like be intimate, but it's not the goal.
I also think it's not the goal, but as you've said, the world has shown that it's the only way to feel alive. Kumbe, it's not. Me, I think sex is just because most of the people don't enjoy sex. Most of the men, by the way, it's a lie when they say that most men enjoy sex.
Hey, they enjoy it, Lilian.
No. Which men are you?
Here is the thing.
They enjoy. Ah,
Here is the thing. Don't quote me wrong.
Alright.
They enjoy the sex, but I think women enjoy sex more than men. Am I lying? No, you tell me I'm lying. Don't be embarrassed. Speak for myself.
depends.
Just tell me as Lilian Rwanda Jones.
But Angela, if they're giving to you, if they're giving you good squeeze,
Yeah, but it's not what you think about all the time.
Of course
That's what
not.
I'm saying. But people go in here thinking that it's what it is. So when you spend a week without having it, the marriage has gone wrong.
but why are you spending a week without having it? What are you
Life
doing?
has happened.
Hell no, you guys.
So you meet anyway.
Eh,
Let us not go there.
Yes.
Okay.
But let me tell you, remember, okay, we are talking about people out there who are actually not with their husband. Let me say a week. I'm just saying, you spent a week without having sex. So
Yeah,
does that mean that your marriage has fallen? You get what I'm saying? I mean, your marriage is not relying on that sex.
Teacher me.
Okay. It's really serious.
Guys, going a week without having sex, I think it's not very healthy, especially if your love language is touch. Guys, if your love language, you are supposed to touch base with your spouse every week. You are supposed to.
is it
And if your love
possible?
language is touch,
But
sister,
let me tell you, the touch love language thing and the sex is, you can be a quality timer and need it. So it can be an act of service. It can.
what
be,
I'm trying to say, Angela, is that every week you have to touch base with your spouse.
But what if he's not
Sex.
around?
Of course, if it's not around, that's
That's
different.
what we are saying.
what I'm
No,
saying.
yeah, what I'm trying to say is that if
Or
your
what if
spouse,
you're sick? You've been sick for 2 weeks.
you guys,
Mama, he must.
no, I'm not saying you must, but what I'm saying is that why are you spending a week without touching base with your person?
Auntie,
What is
that's what
happening?
I'm saying.
Of course, if there are circumstances that can't be avoided, yes, but don't make it a habit.
Of course not.
Okay,
Yes.
Don't make
And
it
what
a habit.
she's saying is that it's not the end of the world
Yes.
if 1 week, like
One
it shouldn't
week
be
we don't
catastrophic
have-
calling. You're saying I'm an angry this week. No.
I mean, my husband doesn't like me anymore. So what happened? We didn't have sex the whole week. Everyone is going to laugh at
I think the point I'm trying to make is that make sure you touch base every week, you guys. Because the thing is that in the short years I've been married, what I've observed is that you guys can end up drifting apart if you don't touch base. Because the more you grow, you change. The person I was 10 years ago is not the person that I am now.
Ndagire, touching base is not just
Sex
that
is one of
thing.
the ways.
Okay, I know, but let me.
Sex is one of the ways.
But there is talking.
Teacher me.
No.
Sex is one of the ways.
I
There
refuse.
is talking. There is going out. There
Yes,
is
it's one of the ways.
dating,
Ndagire,
you know.
do you know those couples that can touch base as often as they want?
Yes.
Nayenga, they don't talk. They don't even get along.
Yeah.
No, what I meant by touching base is that sex is one of the ways. You can talk. You can go
Say
on
me,
dates.
if you don't talk to me, you're not going to touch base.
No, Angela, what I mean
You
by
talk to me.
what I mean by touching base. What I mean,
We need to get back on the topic.
That's the whole thing. Because here is
Angela, what I mean by touching base is that you have to make sure. Okay, maybe I used a wrong phrase.
That's not the word.
What I was trying to say is that you have to make sure you interact with your spouse.
You're always intimate. Is that what you're
One
trying
of the interact is like get like fellowshipping with them. And one of the ways you fellowship with your spouse is sex.
Okay.
But it can also be
you
it can also be talking.
I know, right?
Eh? But after talking, then what happens? Then sorry. English speaking.
Yes, please.
What I'm saying is that you have to date each other. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's others you end up growing apart.
Okay.
You end up growing apart.
Yes.
Okay, there is this that some people do not speak the touch love language. What do you say about those people?
I
So
said you
does that
talk to
mean
each
that-
other. Talk to each other.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Spend
there are
time.
some people. My point was this. It doesn't mean that if you spend a week without having sex, then your marriage has crumbled. That's the point. You're going to put people out there to think that, so our marriage has drifted because this person here on the podcast said this, and do you know
No,
that?
as in for me, what I was trying to say is that
I get what you're saying.
you get what I'm saying.
Exciting.
Good.
She's saying that you need to be intimate. And one of
Yes.
the ways you're intimate
Is
is that.
sex.
And every week you should at least try to be intimate.
You have to. Yeah.
Many
you have to
people
try.
make this a thing, like you have to go on dates,
Yes,
like have a date
you
night,
should.
have a night when you talk, like have a day in the
Yes,
week when you
yes,
touch base. Where you're
yes.
like, where are you at?
Thank
So that
you.
means is that why some people make what are they called? Timetables? Because I've seen in movies people make timetables. They're like, so at such and such a time it's sex, then this, then that. So is that why?
I think
So
for
that
me,
you can
I think that
continue
because
making-
the truth is that, like I said earlier, the more you grow, you change. The person I married 10 years ago, he's different. Others you end up drifting apart. You just sleep in the same bed, but you don't know each other. It happens all the time. So you just say they are raising kids. When the kids go, then what?
Life goes on.
How does it go on when you know the person who sleeps next to you? You have to know
So,
them.
Ndagire, what you're saying is knowing of the heart, not
Yes.
necessarily that.
But one of the ways you know the heart
Ndagire,
is
what I'm saying is squeeze is an effect of a good relationship.
Yes.
It's not what drives a good relationship.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Wow.
So we are now on the same page.
But
Yes.
the what I was trying to say earlier, Angela, was if you guys are not having squeeze all the time, that means there's something wrong. Why aren't you having the squeeze?
No, there isn't.
All that time.
No, right?
No, what I'm saying is that every time today you're tired, tomorrow you're sick, tomorrow I have traveled, then a month passes, 6 months.
Okay, I'm not this.
A month is a while, but a week is not a while.
is
A
not
week
a while.
sometimes
It's not
life.
even a minute.
And thank you so much. Like Mommy Muhire is a very happy man. I'm going to let him.
You people. I'm not saying we are tired of time.
I'll be counting every week.
You cheek. Guys, I didn't say we're having every week.
That is literally what you were saying. But it's okay. I mean, you're married. No one should be caning.
I'm feeling embarrassed. Anyway,
Okay, now back to
Why people get married.
Why do people
Yes.
get married?
yeah.
Some people, because they're too old.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young,
Time is catching up.
you have options. You can check. No, leave me. What? Then you reach like 28. You're like
28 is early. 30.
no, 28 now. You're
28
focusing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
Not
focusing.
for girls. For men, it's okay.
28, you're now beginning to focus. You're like,
Yeah,
okay, now I
true.
really want this.
Yes.
So you're more serious about who comes around. 30, you're like, like, what's up?
Yeah.
Then a guy comes. You're like, you hold him like you put him under your armpit. You're like, you're never ever going to go away from me.
Yeah.
Because I shall not
I've
be
run out of time.
single.
Yeah.
And if you've been that person who's been, squeezing everybody you find, your body count is at a certain number where you can no longer afford to squeeze for free.
Yeah.
You're like,
have to pay.
if I'm going to squeeze you,
Put the ring on
you're
it
taking me somewhere. You're not
Yeah.
just going to squeeze,
and go.
And that is a major factor these days, I think. I think women have become very loose in terms of squeezing. So
Unfortunately.
men are not inclined to marry you because if you refuse,
I can get somewhere
you
else.
will give me,
Yeah.
or I want to use names of who I know.
Use weird names. Have I?
Her guy. those ones will give me if you refuse to give me. You get
Yeah.
so then you become more desperate to lock him down because now he has options.
Yeah.
He's not. There's like a 21-year-old who will give you 22, 23.
Atawo.
What? Then you're 32 and you're feeling like you're
You
the
have it
bomb.
all. I think that this reminds me of David's story when he was old. He grew old. And
They brought for him a little
yeah,
a
they
young
brought
girl.
for him a little young girl. So I think there is also that you're old, you need someone to take care of you. So yes.
Oh.
So you go and get a young girl who's actually, going to take care of you. It might not actually be real marriage, but some people are getting married, mostly those men in the old age, to be taken care of, not
yeah.
to be lonely. So that by the time they die, they've not been alone. They have someone who has been taking care of them, and we came talking about that.
Yes, we were
saying
discussing
that,
that.
we were saying that men can't live alone.
It's difficult for them to be
It's
alone.
difficult.
Yeah.
So when they lose their wives, they either die like next year, you get,
Or they have to marry quickly.
or they have to marry someone else. So that they have that person. So we're saying God is funny. He brings these men who are muscular and strong in physics, but
They're a bit soft.
they're emotionally soft and they can't live alone. That's why God said that
It's not good for a man to
it's
be
not good for a
alone.
man to be alone. That's why. So you always wonder, Bambi, Chokambi, his wife died last year. For him, he
Yeah.
has died this. You get it? It's because they can't live alone.
Yeah.
And for the wives, we were made to be their helpmates. So women, it's God given. You have to get married. Men, you can't be alone. You get it? So we are there. They are what? Superheroes.
Blanket.
We are their ribs. By the way, we are their ribs. You get it? Because God made us from bone, for them from soil. When it rains on the soil, what happens? It becomes muddy,
Crumble, what?
But for the bone, it will stay forever. So women, clap for yourselves. Yes.
I think another reason why people get married because they don't want to be lonely.
Yeah.
The other day, unfortunately, my parents are separated when I was a child. My mother told me something that actually broke my heart. She was like, I don't buy dresses that have zippers behind because I have no one to tie my zip for me.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah. So sometimes people get married because they don't want to be lonely, being alone. Because when you're with your person, I feel like when a husband and wife get married, you guys have some inside
Yeah.
that Apple don't know about. So it's like I feel as if a husband gives you a sense of, can I say security?
Yeah.
Can I call it security? Husband gives you a sense of security. You don't have to be alone. You have someone you can touch base all the time with. Can talk about their kids, talk about life. Someone who will not judge you. You can be vulnerable. There's a vulnerable space if it's a healthy relationship. There's a vulnerable space so you don't have to worry about being judged. And in that space, you can just be and dress and be. And I think all of us human beings long for that. So I think that's another reason why people get married is because of that.
Hey, no, but you're right. You're right. That is a good reason why people, especially women, both women.
No one
and
wants
men.
to be alone.
Mostly women who are looking for security.
Yeah, I've actually remembered yesterday I was watching a lady who was like saying how she's not a feminist, like she's so much against the feminist.
Yes, I
agenda
love men.
because
Yeah.
it's trying to make you be like a man, and yet
Yeah.
you're not like a man. You were
Yes.
made for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
And she was saying that I'm a strong woman. I have the capability to run things. And she was like that the reason why I am in charge of my life right now is because I don't have a husband. I'm the firstborn of my family. I have to provide for my family. I'm the one they look to, so I have to be out there and hustle and fight like everyone else.
Yeah.
But if I found a man who can provide for me, who can protect me, who makes me feel safe, I will completely surrender to him and let him be my man because he can actually take care of me, because that's what we are made to be. So when you say security, it's so true for us that we are always looking for security. Before you have a husband, you're just
all over.
You don't know where you're like
safe.
You're like you're never safe.
I think you're not sure of yourself. you feel like you're missing something because you are supposed to have someone to look after you. You get-
Yes, look after you. But
Yeah.
also what I find quite interesting, sometimes maybe the husband does not have money, but they look after you. How? Like your emotional well-being.
Yeah.
Someone you can go and talk to and say, you know what,
This and
today at work, my boss did this and this and this. Then he'll be like, okay, let's pray about it. Or they give you some advice, or sometimes they just like an ear to listen to you, even if they're not giving you advice or they're not fixing. I know sometimes you don't want
Oh, a hug. You
problems
just
to
need
be
a hug
fixed.
from them.
Yes, someone who can come and talk to, and they'll be like, and they give you security in that sense, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so sometimes that's what someone is looking for. But of course, money is nice too. Who doesn't like money?
Man is nice. It's nice when he can actually provide.
Yeah,
Like quickly, like, that's nice. But the more important, the security you're talking about of like, I have someone I can actually lean on. And
Yes,
trust in
lean
and-
on.
And what? And now that takes me to, there are people who are in their marriages, but they cannot lean on their
that is sad.
spouses because either there's a break in trust, you did
Yeah,
something, I don't trust you anymore.
yes,
I cannot, and now you're just living your life. You're married, you have a husband or a wife, but you're not you're not in a secure place with them because they either did something that caused a break in the relationship,
Yes.
which can actually be very detrimental for you.
yes.
Because now the person who would be taking care of you is
don't
not
trust
doing
them.
it. You
Yeah.
don't trust them, and you will end up looking for someone to take care of you because the need is still there. You still need
Yes.
someone to help you, talk to, not like to be like, hey, baby.
And
Like,
that's
I
how you
get
end up
it.
having affairs.
And that's how you end up having affairs.
Yes.
So, what is the solution here?
I think the solution is forgiveness. That's the truth. Forgiveness. And then the other solution is don't look at your man. We've come talking about these things funny enough. Do not look at this man. Look at God. I was telling Ndagire here that for me to overcome all the pain, the hurt, I got one place like this in God's like throne room, and I held myself there like this, and I'm not letting go because I mean these people are also human. You get, and I'm also human. So that means that if I look at this person and the mistakes, and you've pointed it out that if anything, then I'm going to find another affair. So that means for me not to go down that road, I have to look at God. I have to go and I throw my crown to him, I throw my burdens to him and tell him, you know what? That is your man you gave me. Do something about it. So you continue to pray, you continue to, and just don't look at him. Because the more you look at him, you're going to be in a lot of pain. And it's not going to go away.
And also, I've learned that you just need to don't focus on some things. You know, where something happens, you know it has happened, you know, you're like, I should be fighting about this. But there's some strength that comes from just being like, I am not even going to look at you. I'm not. You know, like how a dirty child passes by and you're like, I did not see that. I need to move on with my life swiftly. And not to say that it's easy. It's obviously not. But English speaking. If you're a Christian, if you're someone who's been pursuing God, this is something that you have to learn to do. You have to learn to be like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to go there. Because it's not going to end well. And I was thinking this morning something happened that disturbed me. I was like, like, what is this nonsense, you know? And the Lord is like, am I God or not? Do you believe that I can go and fix this thing for you or not? Nengamba, you may, you will delay.
Yeah.
Let me first see whether I can do something about
For yourself.
And whatever I tried to do, it was like, you know, when you throw a stone and it just goes like, and it does nothing. And then the Lord is like, okay, so will you let me do something about it? But that comes from you actually being like, I'm not going to approach this thing. And funny enough, whoever has done it to you will also be praying that you don't say anything.
Yeah.
They're like, oh Lord, I don't want to get into this fight. Help me.
Yeah.
Then the Lord, because God doesn't have sides. For we've been talking about this whole eternity and judgment, and He's like, both of you have a chance to overcome and be, the greatest in the kingdom of God. So who will it be? Will it be you or will it be you? So He's for both of you.
Yeah.
And that there's a notion in the world that go report him to God and God will get him. But God is not for either one of you. He's for both. He's like, I want you to win and I want you to win. So I'm not going to side with you against him, and I'm not going to side with him against you. I'm going to work with both of you so that you can reach is it union? Unity?
Unity.
Yes.
I think that when we're having misunderstandings, I think for me, what I've found in the short years I've been married, you also have to understand that you're a human being and you make mistakes, and you need grace and mercy when you have made your own mistakes. You don't need somebody packing at where the mistake was.
Yeah.
So you start this business even in 2000 and 1999. You did like this. Then in 1991, then in 1800.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think ladies can have a tendency of keeping a record of wrongdoing. The Bible says that love doesn't keep a record of wrongdoings. And I'm not saying that bury your head in the sand. What I'm saying is that if you can talk through things and let it go. But even that thing of you wanting every little thing they do to you, you sit in a meeting. He threw the socks on the floor, a meeting. Or why he put the toothpaste where, a meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some things you can, like what you're saying, some things, like when they put the toothpaste,
Put it right.
organize and put it back. Must you be in a meeting the man would also be thinking, every time I'm going back home, it's a family meeting. It's a,
Yeah.
So I think that that you saw mercy because you want to reap mercy. And what you have said, understanding that your husband is not a human being like you. You said that your husband is a human being like you. And I understand that he's the head, he's supposed to be all these things. The truth is some of our husbands are not. They are not. And sometimes in the spirit, you're older than your husband. But what does the Bible say? It doesn't say that, if you're older than him in the spirit, then be
the head.
No, it doesn't say that. It just says, wife, submit to your husband.
Yeah.
So I think that when he has hurt you, if you guys can talk about it, go to God in prayer.
Yeah.
But don't go reporting. Go to God in prayer. I've found that God always gives you a solution. He'll tell you, do this or do that. Or he may just even keep quiet. And you may have to just hold on to God, like what my sister was sharing here. But I think that it's important that you don't hold on to issues, because I think that holding on to issues makes you
bitter.
Because it makes you bitter.
Like you're not going to forgive this person at all because you're always picking out the bad things he's doing. But you also forget that you're also doing some bad things.
Of course.
You get it? Because and by the way, what's funny is for us, we think we are perfect. You get, like, since you're doing the chores, you're, doing those small things, you even gave him kids, so now you're the perfect one. Kumbe, you're also doing things that he doesn't like, but because he's not talking about it, and you who can talk, you're now, as she has said, meetings all the time. But then when, let me say now, one day you call that meeting and he's like, you know what, I think you've said a lot.
Even
now,
you.
let me also. And then you find out that you're actually not who you thought you were. Like, and then what? You start, do you bring yourself back? Do you apologize? Or you're like, it's because you do this. You get, so it's a two-way street. But for now, we are talking to our fellow women that marriage is not the party, the ring, and then, go and...
The party and the ring are nice. So
yes. So they are very nice. And who doesn't want a wedding? I mean, me one day I even told my husband I want to go to a wedding. I don't even like. I just wanted to go and attend. You get? I didn't know who was getting married. I just wanted to go and eat food and enjoy the liveliness, the people enjoying the dresses and all. And then he just looked at me like, I'm not getting you. I get you're a party person, but I'm not getting this whole thing. So I mean, marriage is a good thing. You get it? So, but people have decided to bachita batya, to brand it, in a certain way. So they brand that if there is no this in marriage, so that means marriage is not there. So that means our marriage is bad. Because I'm looking at your marriage and I'm not getting what you're getting. So I'll start thinking my husband doesn't love me.
Yeah.
And that is wrong. I mean, when mwari mwekwana, these people were not there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
arguments you came to were not even in big, but because I'm saying that, Ndagire and her husband, they go for picnics. For us, we don't go. But at first, you didn't even care. You get, but because now you're seeing it, you start telling your husband how he's lazy. He doesn't care about certain things. Oh my God, you see, our marriage has problems because we no longer go for picnics. But you were not even going to begin with. I get when you were going at first and then you stopped. But also, look at the reasons why you stopped. Because maybe money stopped coming or kids came in. But let's not even use kids as examples, because I mean now people will start saying, but we have kids.
No, but listen, the truth is that when you have kids, your life will change.
Yeah.
We don't want to beat about the bush.
Mm.
When you have children, especially you, the woman,
Yeah.
because you're the primary caregiver, you're the
Your bag will change
breastfeeder,
immediately.
you're the one who changes diapers, you're the one, and there are some people who want to fight me. Why can't the man help me?
Mhm.
But like God didn't tell him that. Actually, God told you
Yeah.
to be a stay-at-home person and care for your children. He doesn't tell the man that nowhere. He told the man go till whatever. So as a woman, your life will change.
Yeah.
It must.
It's funny, you've been holding your bag full of makeup, those
Yeah.
Now you're
and then
carrying
you
a
start
diaper
carrying
bag
diaper.
with extra clothes, with milk, with what? Like your life has to change,
Baby clothes.
and you have to give yourself time to change with it.
Yeah.
And figure out the new routine because it's different. Like Ndagire was saying, you have to touch base. So you need to keep on figuring out how do we live a new life with a baby.
Yeah.
Not how do we hold on to our old life while we have a baby. No, it's different now.
You're finding
You have to,
a new path.
find a new way to
Because
be
you've
a
grown,
wife,
you're different
to
now.
be a mother. And then there's people put women on pressure. Your husband is your first baby. You mustn't ever forget him, which is true. But you have to learn it.
Yeah.
You teach yourself that, okay, when he comes back, I put the baby down, I welcome him, I give him his, like, you learn those things. So it will change the dynamic of the relationship, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a sin, it's just different. And if you roll with it, kids grow up, they don't stay babies
And they leave you
forever.
there.
They grow up, and then you have to figure. Man, Nigerian, the kids leave it.
But it's
And you have to figure out.
And
your
do you know
life.
something? The kids, if you've been like focusing on the kids, making the marriage about your children, when they grow and go, then
You're
what?
still with your man.
Do you know my husband asked me a question? He told me, you are yearning for a child and it's a good thing. So, God forbid, what if the child dies? What next? Is your life
That's a heavy question.
centered around your child?
Yeah.
Like your whole being is your child?
Yeah.
Is that what God wants for you? Like, those are things to think about because it's true. People have lost their children. People have lost their children and their lives are devastated.
Yeah. And
like someone loses their child and they also die.
Yeah.
Someone loses their spouse, they also die. You know? And that shouldn't be the case.
What is the true north? We as women need to have a true north.
The true north.
Even before you have found your man.
Yes, the true north is what she was saying. Keep your eyes on Jesus.
Yes.
It's true that you as a wife, your husband is supposed to be the center of your everything. But God, you are God's first. Before you're your husband's, you are God's first. So your whole being is supposed to be enamored. Is that how you say it? Enamored by God. He's supposed to be your all in all, the air that you breathe.
It's true. And when you look at the first marriage ever, God was with a man, they did their things, then God is like, oh, this is not good. Then God gives the man
the woman.
So from that context, you know that the woman is for this person.
Yes.
It's not the man is not for you. You are for the man.
Yeah.
And when you're entering marriage, you have to know that. We have a misconception in the world that you two are like you play off of each other. He does this, I do this. He does this, I do this, and you're like, oh, we have this beautiful relationship where, I mean, we are accountable to one another in the sense that, like, we are equal partners in this thing, like, and it doesn't even work because it's not true.
Yeah.
It's not the truth.
One has to be.
One is always over the other. So when you're entering marriage as a woman, you learn. Me, I didn't know these things when I was getting
So let me-
married. I
so-
found out.
If you're thinking that you're equal partners with your husband, how are you going to submit? If my
You don't
child
submit.
if my child thinks they are my equal,
They can't.
how will they submit to me?
And they don't. That's the thing. They're like, we should be submitting to one another. Is the
It's not
argument.
true.
That's when they grow up and start beating you up because they think you're mommy.
You're my
You get
equal.
it? Like, this is how you raised me. You didn't show me that you're actually my superior. So those are the kids you're going to find they can answer their moms or fathers the way they want because they didn't teach them that. They didn't show them that you are down here and I'm up here. You get it? So there is a lot of disrespect. So even in marriage, when you enter your marriage knowing we are equal partners, so they will tell you things and you'll be like, do it yourself.
Do whatever.
You
And
get
then you're like, he didn't first consult me. How could he make decisions without telling me? He doesn't have to. It's not written anywhere. He's the head.
Yeah.
But when you go back, where was I? Come back. Oh, the
We're talking about thinking that you're equal partners.
thinking that you're equal. Yeah, like you were given to him to help him in his
His
things.
helpmate, yes.
And when you're getting married, most women don't know this. They think,
Yeah.
oh, we loved each other, now we're going to move in, buy our house. One of my friends was telling me, he had to first wed me so that I could have a say in the things he does in the house.
You had to
Because I
first do
don't-
what?
Wait.
He had to first wed her, like put a ring on it, before she could enter into his house and start making decisions about the house. Like, if before he weds me, I have no right to make decisions. But after he has wedded me, now I can go and tell him, I don't like this, I don't like that, I must change this, I must change. Like, now she has the right.
Was she talking about a physical
A
house?
house, a physical house, his home. And much as that may be like, legal ground of access, just because he has married you doesn't mean he's going to just welcome all your wonderful ideas about the house.
I
Like,
think it's
you have
about
to.
talking through things.
If you're not submitted, you're going to fight.
Yeah.
Even if he has married you, you're going to fight him on the curtains. You're going to fight him on the color paint. You're going to fight him on that. You're going to fight about everything.
Yeah.
Because for you think just because he married you, you're equal,
Mm.
and so you can make decisions equally. Like, we must agree, and yet in agreement.
But
there's
I would
no
like to
such
ask you
thing.
something. I don't know if it's a thought. That's the thing in the marriage. There are roles, not so. So what is the husband doing picking out curtains?
But if he doesn't like the curtains, he will not like the curtains. There are men who care about how their homes look.
Yeah.
And if you pick a pink curtain, it's like, you shall not have a pink curtain in my house.
And I
You
think
get what I mean?
I think what I'm trying to say is that there are roles that a husband has. There are roles that a wife has.
Yes.
Okay, let
So-
me also ask you a question. In case you've gone and you picked out your beautiful things, remember we have different tests. So you pick out your things and then you bring them. Remember, let me say you've not told him, oh, he gave you a go ahead. Yes, go ahead and do this. But then you pick them and you just do whatever. And then he comes and tells you, I don't want that.
But
Put it out.
but
Remove it.
by the time, because remember what we talked about earlier, touching base.
Mm.
When you're touching base, what are you discussing?
And it comes
Those are some of the things that you
we
discuss.
actually in agreement. Me and you, like all of us right now, we're in agreement in the sense that you talked to him, he allowed you, and then you went. But there is this one who is like, because I'm a wife, I have a right to do what I want because it's my home.
to change everything.
Also, you
about
get.
him.
It's good you've said also, meaning there's another party involved. If you want to live a life where you do your own things, don't get married. I'm afraid. Don't get married. It's the truth.
You're right.
If you feel that you want to live a life, I'm afraid independent woman does not work. If you want to be independent woman, if you are feminist, I think marriage is not for you.
Stay in your own.
Otherwise, you will run mad for nothing. Because if you decide that you want to get married, marriage is like a selfless ministry.
Yeah.
Marriage is not about
You.
I'm afraid. It is a ministry. It's a ministry of the Lord. He instituted this for service. It's a service. And when you're serving others, us who hate acts of service, oh my God.
You're funny.
It's like, it's not easy. But if you didn't want to serve, you have no business getting married. Honestly.
So the current woman wants to get married
And
to
stay
tick her
independent.
box. Yes.
My darling.
Be independent. I've even had this in so many podcasts.
But
Have your
it can't
money,
work.
take care of yourself, give him what he wants, but do your thing. Be a boss, babe. Build your business, make your money,
Just have
do
that
whatever
name,
you
carry his
want.
name and
But I tell you, they don't even use his name out there. Out there, they're like Lillian Wandale. You'll never hear. But she has a ring, so it's assumed that she's married. But like, you'll never hear anywhere that she's married unless you see her with her husband. You're like, oh yeah, this is my husband.
You guys, me, I think, but I know the Bible is clear.
Yeah.
Marriage is service. You get rid of yourself. At the end of the day, you're supposed to be in your husband's image. However offensive that is, even me who's talking, I hate that thing. But that is divine order.
I think every woman, no woman likes it.
Unless if you're not a Christian, do your own things. But if you know that Jesus is the Lord of your life, you have to understand that your husband is the Lord of your life. If you can't reconcile that, then
Say bye-bye to marriage.
you're not a true follower of Jesus. Because the Bible even keeps saying that marriage is a type and shadow of Jesus and his bride.
Yeah.
When Jesus is with his bride, do you see equals?
Mm-mm.
Do you see Jesus sitting with the bride negotiating? Where in the Bible do you see that? Can somebody show me a scripture?
People will start going to the Bible.
Jesus negotiates with
The
the
people
bride.
who negotiate with God are Saul, who ends up being removed from his place of whatever.
Yeah.
But like people who negotiate with their powers,
Taken
they're
out.
like kicked out of the kingdom, never to be
And
seen
by the way,
again.
and you guys, I'm not saying that you're not supposed to. Of course, you should also air your views. I'm not saying be an airhead. Clearly, none of us here is an airhead. We're all well educated. If we start talking about the books we've read, Bambi, we are read. But the thing is that when you get married, those things of your books, they don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they do not matter. If you want to go near my boss babe doesn't work inside your house. It doesn't. However much your husband didn't go to school, they can't speak English, they have a bad accent.
They are your husband.
Why did you marry them?
Now that's the question.
Why did you marry
Why did you
them?
marry that man
Hey.
who you saw was not taking you anywhere? That's the
Thank
question
you.
we are asking.
Why did you marry him? By what?
I love, love.
How did you love him?
Why did you love that man who
I
didn't
mean,
go to
I saw
school?
this person. He looked nice. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
My
I'm just
darling,
trying to fight for a woman out there.
you make your bed, you lay in it. With the thorns in it, you lay in
I am
silence.
trying to fight for the woman out there. Like,
So tell us more about this woman.
So this woman, this person was sweet, nice. He was so submissive to her. By the way, that's a point. Remember, this person, your man has not gone to school.
You're then forgiving them.
Yes. So that means that you're working, you're the one buying for him things. So everything, yeah. That's the point. His sex is good. He's too, but he's passionate.
He's romantic.
He holds my bag when
Romantic.
Yes, very romantic. Who cares about the books, if he does what I want. So after that, you have to sponsor your wedding, your quadrilla, you take him to the parents. Oh my God, I'm so much in love. He looks good. And then he looks good in clothes. The clothes I buy him, oh my God, his body's on point.
Literally a boy toy.
And then after you get into marriage, in your house, by the way.
The house that you built with your money.
And then this man changes.
That it changes what? That's how he was.
No, he wasn't showing it. He has not changed, but he wasn't showing it at first. But now, he's the man, the man's man. In your house. So what are you going?
But you see, actually, for me, I really see that happening.
Yeah.
And the reason, he may not even be a man's man. He may never change his ways. He may remain like as docile as possible. But you have needs.
Yes.
You want to be provided for.
Yeah.
Innately, you want to be protected.
Yeah.
Innately, you want security. And this man is not giving you security because you're still working your ass off. You still have nothing in your, like, you have no sense of pride that this is my man.
Yeah.
You know, he does this for me. He's just there sleeping every day. So you get frustrated because you went and you bought this guy. He liked what you were selling, and he's like, yeah, Chiku's going to take care of me for forever. Sure, why not?
I think
But Angela,
the first mistake you made to sponsor him. That was the very first mistake that this woman has done. Because the moment you show this person that they can be docile even without him being in your house, that means that he's going to be like that. Like that's where he's going.
I was going to say that. I also think that my one of my aunties used to tell me, let me speak it in Luganda, tosasira musajja. Leko musajja akwata obuvunanyizibwa bwe.
Yeah.
Please translate.
Okay, so what she's saying is don't feel sorry for a guy. A guy should take on his responsibility fully, like let him take on what he's supposed to do.
The point I'm trying to make is that stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Be
weak.
Like as a woman, you are married, you're standing up on a table putting in bulbs. Why?
By the way, my husband was saying, you have to learn how to put bulbs at the table. As you see me here,
not
I
Zala.
am your wife. There are jobs in this home. There are jobs in this house.
For you.
You fix the cars.
Yeah.
You fix the bulbs. When the lights are not working, I'm not touching anything. Just like you won't go in the kitchen and make me breakfast. And like, then he's like, oh, I'd forgotten you're a woman. What do you mean?
You guys are friends like
What do
that.
you mean? You have your work, I have my work. We're not mixing issues here, no?
Guys, what I've found is that however much a man does not have money, even if he doesn't have money, doesn't have a job, you go to him and say, babe, the pampers of the baby are finished. And look at him. He'll find a way. He'll figure, because it's his duty to provide. He'll figure it out. He will.
Actually, one more about the scenario of the woman whose guy is docile. He also has needs to be ahead somewhere.
Yeah.
So that both of you're going to look for a man to provide for you, what, and he's going to look for a woman who submits, who will let him be there. So the money you bring home,
He takes.
Oh my God, that's scary.
And then you find he has like a woman out there who he provides for.
Using your money.
Those things which Ndagire was saying about the guy who dates you for years. And then he meets a girl and he's like, this is the one.
He marries her in 6 months.
And you're like,
after you've given him squeeze, you've given him children.
You've told him sweated.
Then he goes and just he makes a big wedding for some kachiki he has seen for 6 months.
He says, God forgive
you
me.
see how women can easily kill.
But Angela, you've put your blood and sweat and tears. You don't deserve a wedding.
No, you are the one working. You're the boss lady, remember? So that means you don't deserve a wedding because you're the boss lady. So since you're working for the man, make money and make your wedding.
Hey.
I mean, he's there. Anyway, this is such a great topic. So we are going to cut it off for now, go for a break, then we shall come back and continue with it. Thank you.
Holiday edition.
Bye.
See you soon.